1 and 2, Campbell Roads. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Delegations. And we have Shane Wright, who's the coordinator of Buy Local BC initiative. And Shane has been a visitor to council a few times, and we're happy to have him back as soon as he gets all his stuff together. So could you come up to the microphone, Shane? And welcome, and he's brought us some maps as well, and thank you very much. He's going to tell us about next year's Buy Local, Buy Fresh in the Okanagan Valley. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor McCordoff and councillors. As always, thank you for your ongoing support of Buy Local, Buy Fresh Okanagan, and for having me here this morning to give an update on the project. So again, my name is Shane Wright. I live in Lake Country here in the Okanagan, and I'm a local project manager, a mapping specialist, and I'm also the proprietor of the Buy Local BC initiative. And today I want to give the short update on what has happened in the project since we first met 2 seasons ago in October 2014. If I could have the next slide, please. So, just a quick review and update for you. The Buy Local, Buy Fresh Okanagan Food Map is the centerpiece of our annual campaign to highlight local food and where to find it in the community. Next year, in 2017, will mark the 5th annual edition, if you can believe it. I'm not sure that I can believe it's gone so quickly, but here we are. And so this is a cost-effective direct marketing tool for local food businesses and farms, and it includes the free printed fold-out map, an online directory of listings, a parallel signage campaign for farms and food products, as well as the option to participate in our booth at local food events throughout the season. As you may know, the Buy Local, Buy Fresh brand was created in 2002 in Waterloo Region, Ontario, by an organization known as FoodLink, who then shared the brand with over a dozen other areas across Canada, including this Okanagan Valley map, and very pleased to announce as well, starting this summer, we also have our new Thompson and Shuswap edition of the map. And so we now invite all of the levels of the local food system to participate in this project, including local farmers and producers, processors, retailers and distributors, local farmers markets, of course. Municipalities and their local agencies are our key sponsors, and we work with producer associations such as the Certified Organic Association of BC as well. Now, this year's 2016 edition includes 48 farms. That was up from 27 on our first ever map in 2013. And this year it also includes over 25 other local food businesses and organizations. So there's a total of about 75 participants on this year's map. We're very excited, as I mentioned, this season to launch our first ever Thompson and Shuswap map covering the Kamloops and the Salmon Arm areas. And that was a very successful inaugural campaign. It gained a lot of media coverage for both maps, which in fact launched simultaneously this past summer. And so it was wonderful to have CBC radio interviews and great articles on castanet.net, as well as in a number of the local newspapers supporting the launch of the campaign in the Okanagan and the Thompson-Shuswap this summer. And so our campaign now covers the entire Thompson-Okanagan region. This has proven to support both recognition of the campaign and also a more comprehensive regional coverage for visitors to this area. This social enterprise links all of these stakeholders in support of local food and farming, and the sponsorship funds directly support the map production itself, which allows us to cover our printing, our staffing costs, and the sustainability of the campaign for all participants as well. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Just a little bit of feedback for you. The maps continue to be well received. They're becoming one of the most requested publications at local outlets and visitor centers. Now, this year we also moved to printing both of our maps on 100% recycled paper. And there was a small additional cost involved with that, but we feel that it was important to realign that aspect of the publication, and the feedback has been very positive. And the new paper, I think, is also a better fit with the intended look and feel of the publication. Some other comments we've received, I've put up on the slide here for you to browse over. I'll just read through very quickly. Quote, all the maps you sent have been picked up at our corn kiosk and people really like them. Quote, the maps are on display in our tasting room. We love the photos you were able to use. They look great. And finally, quote, you offer the best advertising value around. Okay, our final slide. Let's move on. Next steps for this year's project. This season we'll be working on the expansion of our Okanagan campaign and continuing to work out the remaining details with the Thompson Shoe Swap program, which is, of course, a first ever. Accommodating new farms on the Okanagan map could require redesigns, and so it's key to know that our current sponsors plan to remain on board over the next several years of the campaign as we evaluate that growth strategy going forward. We had a number of new farms inquire about joining the campaign, and we do look forward to making the space to accommodate them by expanding and updating our farm listings. The map in its current format right now is very, very full, but that said, that can be changed either by expanding page sizes or simply redesigning the space that we're allocating to each participant. To do that, though, is a step, it's a task, and also we need to know that there's a need to do that by having enough participants to fill up that space. And I think that the demand is definitely there. Some of the examples of other maps actually have as many as 80 farms accommodated on them. I think that's a big map. We could certainly get there. We're at 48 now, but we do have room to grow. And so while I know that budgets are set annually, I ask that perhaps we look ahead to just considering the next 3 to 5 year period of stable funding and whether that's something that's going to be possible here. And as the campaign becomes well established, we plan to continue producing the map ongoing. And we hope that our cover sponsors are both pleased to continue supporting the campaign and happy with the result of the campaign each season so far. And so please let us know any comments or feedback that you might have. And so this fall and winter, we continue to work on our website as the visits continue to increase each season. That includes the refinement of our search results and our regional filters. We're holding advertising rates unchanged this year. And so we're asking the town of Osoyoos to move to budget ongoing for the $500 annual sponsorship, which includes the cover logo display in recognition for the town participating, as well as a business card sized ad on the map. And as you may or may not know, that ad space has been graciously donated to your local Osoyoos Market on Main, who's been using the ad space to promote the local farmers market, which I think is one of your key outlets for local food in town. There's a lot of food produced in Osoyoos, but aside from the highway farm gate stands that open up seasonally, I think a lot of it is actually shipped direct. And so the product that actually is available for sale locally, a lot of it does, I think, go through that local farmers market. And I think it's great that you've been able to help them. They're a smaller market, and so it's not always clear that they would have the budgets to participate in something like this entirely on their own. It's possible that they could put that ad on there, but I think that they're very happy to have you helping with that, as an economic development tool for the market and for the town. So on behalf of them, I'd like to say thank you and just let you know that that's where that ad spot's been going. There is potential going forward to break out that piece and have the market or whoever take that on separately. So I can send an email to further clarify that, but there is an option where you could have just the cover logo and let the market take care of the ad spot if you're finding that the full 500 is becoming too much to accommodate. Otherwise, if the capacity is there to continue with that, then I think it's a wonderful arrangement. And there are lots of examples of other towns that are doing the same thing and taking the $500 package and actually giving the ad spot to their local market as a development tool. And so our 2017 sponsorship letter is provided for your review and consideration. And so I'll conclude now by turning to some printed samples, which I'll hand out to you just now, as well as any questions. And thank you for taking time today and for your continued support of Buy Local, Buy Fresh Okanagan.
Thank you very much, Shane. Definitely, the Suisse Farmers Market is very well used. It grows every year, and it's held right outside here. So we've had it, I think, 10, 11, maybe even 12 years now. We've been doing that. And it's been very much a local initiative, and lots of people come down. It's a sort of a social thing to do on Saturday morning. So we're happy to do whatever we can to try and maintain the market as it is. Just as an aside, last week I was at the Okanagan-Similkameen Healthy Living Coalition, which is a group that has been formed to look at health issues. So one of the things that I thought was so interesting was there is a doctor, can't remember his name now, it's a rather unusual name, but anyway, he's coming to talk to the regional district in January about food security. And so I think that what you're doing fits in so well. Health and nutrition, food affects all of that, economic development, cultural identities. And so I think they're all sort of interconnected, and we're really looking at ways that we can make sure that we eat healthy foods and that we educate people on what is so important in there, and it's not just going to a fast food outlet and ordering something there. It's, being able to grow your own. Interesting that there are several young people now that are interested in getting a plot of land. We went through, everybody needed to go down to, to the big cities and get a job there. And now they're starting to see a little bit more people coming back and buying property and wanting to grow their own food and supply it for other people rather than bringing in food from other parts of the world and sending our food off. Eating local, eating fresh, and so this really fits in very well with that. Just as I can certainly, or if you talk to Angelique Wood, do you know her? She's
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, she's the one who had been at this. She's the chair of this part, and she really knows an awful lot about it. So if you're ever talking to her, that's a really good piece to include in what you're doing. So thank you very much, and I'll certainly open it up to anybody on council. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question. Do you know roughly about how many hits your website gets?
Yes, roughly. It's in the order of the same number of maps that we print. We print 10,000 maps a year, and the site last year got nearly as many hits again.
So 10,000 over the year? Okay.
That, yeah.
And with the 48 vendors in your, how many is related to a Soyuz area, do you know?
Well, difficult to say. If you look at the catchment of your farmer's market, you're pulling farms from Oliver and you're pulling from Similkameen too.
Yes,
so
yes.
When you sort of look at where they're coming from, there are probably, I'd say at least a half a dozen, if not more, that sell right into a Soyuz directly.
Yeah.
There's certainly room to grow there, though. I must say it's taken a while for us to find farms in Osoyoos proper. And it's not that they're not there. It's that, A, they either sell at that farmer's market, which is, I think, part of the real key why that's really has to be there, because that is one of their main outlets, or they're big operations that are shipping to the packing house. Yeah. And so a direct marketing tool may not be quite.
Yeah, I know it'd be hard to identify it town specific. I guess I was relating, say, within 5 clicks of the town, sort of. Yeah. Or are they all up in Summerland? Or
no.
I mean, this has a big reach.
Pull it open and you'll see.
Okay, I just thought you might know it.
It's about a half a dozen. I have to say
perfect.
Right in Osoyoos proper.
That's what I want to hear.
I think a couple right in sort of town.
Okay.
But then a few more that really would identify as being your regional vendors.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
So we have the Suisse logo right on the front here, of course. So this is this year's map, 2016.
That's
so
correct.
You're doing another one for next year.
There's also a copy of the Thompson Shoe Swap going around too. There's
Okay.
2 that I'm circulating if anybody's curious.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, there are 2 different maps.
Yeah,
saying,
one went one way, one went the other. I think we thought they were all the same.
You're not seeing the Osoyoos farms. No, the Thompson Shoe Swap is a separate map.
I got the Osoyoos one.
Great, yeah.
Okay.
Feel
I
free to
think
grab
we
one
all
of each. I
thought
thought you might be interested to see both publications
Thank you very much.
together to cover the whole
Councillor
campaign.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor McCorduff. Well, hi, Shane. Good to see you again. And I know we've been quite supportive in the last few issues that you put out. I just wanted to ask CIO Romanko about the process of getting this on the agenda. I don't think we'll deal with it today, but I would like to see a report come our way at some point in the future.
Well, what council can do by resolution is just direct the administration to make this part of our budgeting discussions, especially for the multi-year ask. You know, the $500 for 1 year is not that big an issue if you choose to support it. Actually, we've just been supporting it without going for council resolution. But if you're going to look at a multi-year, it just provides us with that extra direction. So I can make it as part of the budget discussions.
Yeah, well,
So
I'll make that resolution to do that. I think it's important to get this on a regular meeting agenda. You get more exposure and a little bit higher profile and that kind of thing. And debate is always good, and we can do that at a regular meeting, hopefully.
Good. So do we have a seconder for that resolution? Is that, is,
Yeah,
I don't want all that wording in the resolution.
I'll second
so
that.
just, we already had it seconded by Councillor Campbell. So it just a resolution to bring this back to the budget meeting?
That's
Is
right,
that correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is that fair enough? Okay. And do we need to vote on that? Okay.
Yes.
All in favor of this resolution? Okay. Thank you very much, and we will do that, and we will certainly get back to you on.
Wonderful. Thank you so
And
much.
sorry, anybody else? No, okay. Thank you very much, Shane.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good program.
It is.
I use it, so.
Yeah. Okay. Now we are moving to business. Put my glasses on. Business 1, which is School District 53 policy development, and Mr. Romanko.
Thank you, Mayor McCullough. Council has expressed a willingness to work with the school division to develop stronger local and regional school services. Currently, there doesn't appear to be any formal recognition of local government and education services decision-making. The school district is asking council and the general community for feedback on their attached policies. The administration has reviewed the policies and is making the following recommendations for council's consideration. First of all, their policy A7, roles and responsibilities of the Board of Education. In their item number 4, in terms of governance style, they currently list accountability to involve students, parents, staff, community members, but there is no recognition of local government councils. So the administration is recommending that the local government councils be included in that string of accountabilities. The second recommendation is we're also recommending the consideration of 2 additional committees to the school district structure. During the school debate, there was a recommendation by council that they were willing to work with the school district on some type of intergovernment committee. Currently, there is no formal intergovernment committee structure. I know in the past I've heard that members of the school board have come to the regional district on an annual basis and made some types of presentation. But in terms of working with local government, the attached policies speak to a greater degree. If they did take a look at having formal intergovernment committees, that would be worked into their work plan schedules. The administration is actually recommending 2 intergovernment committees, the first being one at a regional level, and just a review of the recommended committees. First of all, the school district appears to have 2 methods of or 2 models of a committee, the one being consultative and the other one being advisory, and with 2 different levels of intake and consideration of information. the consultative one just being going out to seek information, and it appears that the advisory committee function has more of an impact on the school board's decision-making processes. So the first committee that's being recommended is an intergovernmental committee, and at the regional level, where the school board would meet with municipal governments or representatives of municipal governments that have schools in their jurisdiction. And the membership of that committee would include the entire board of the education, the superintendent, one council representative, and the CEO from each municipal jurisdiction that has a school within its municipal boundary, and one RDOS board member from each rural area that has a school in their rural service area. And the purpose of this committee would be to take a look at, again, going back to their policies. It would be a broad consultation on overall health of the education services and factors influencing service delivery, development of long-term strategic plans for the delivery of education services in the entire region, the factors influencing education funding and service delivery, so that there could be a joint concerted effort by municipal government and the school boards to influence the province and education funding. Exploration of opportunities for partnership, and I think this is something that certainly the council put on the table during the school board, during the school closure process, is the desire to work on a regional basis to develop regional partnerships, and this would provide that opportunity to have representatives around the table. And then any proposed budget and program changes that will impact services of individual municipal jurisdictions. The second committee that's being recommended is more of an advisory committee. So the sense is that the school board would take more into consideration the information that's gathered from it, and the membership of that committee would include the chair of the school board, the local board of education members, the superintendent, municipal council, the RDOS board members from the service area, and the CAO. And the discussions would be very, very similar in content as to the regional ones. However, the focus would be at the local level. So council would be very much in the know in terms of what's happening in their school, what the future of the school is, and have the opportunity to provide input and seek partnerships with the school board at the local level. So those are two additional committees that are recommending. The part of the issue is going to be is it seems like this will certainly put a lot more pressure in terms of on the school board in terms of meetings, because of when you take a look at meeting with individual communities with schools, you're probably looking at 5 or 6 meetings. It's only one meeting for this council, but the pressure would be to meet with the other communities. But I think some type of committee in this particular format would be the natural extension to the recommendations that council made during the school closure process.
Well, thank you very much for all your work and looking into this so carefully, Mr. Emenko. I do just want to add that we understand that there's another committee being formed by MLA Larson, which is, and I'm not sure whether it would be provincial. It's on rural schools. I haven't heard anything more about it, but I do know that the government is looking at doing something. So that may be a further committee looking at this issue. But it definitely is high on our agenda to make sure that we are involved in the education of this district. And we're very happy, as an aside, to say that that we've had an election on Saturday, and we have a local resident who has now become a member, Casey Brower, who's now become a member of the this is a school trustee. So we hope that he's not overwhelmed by all of this, because it's going to be a big job, but we think that he's up to the task. So we welcome Casey as a member of the trustees, and we certainly need to look at every opportunity to be engaged with education. And I did have a meeting with the chair of the school board the other day and told her that we were considering looking at making suggestions, which they asked for, on their policy input, and so she is, I think, will be happy to receive this. So I thank you very much for doing this and for putting it down in very readable terms. Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McCordoff. I'd like to move these recommendations for formal debate and a decision at a regular council meeting.
Thank you. And is that what you require?
That's right.
And would it be brought back this afternoon, or we're not sure? Okay.
I would prefer if we brought it back on the 21st.
Okay.
Is there anything that council sees that they would like to make some
Include?
alterations to these or recommendations?
Councillor King?
I just want to ask a question. Wasn't there a deadline that these had to be submitted by, and the 21st might be past that deadline?
I don't know off the top of my head. If I will, after this meeting, I will go and take a look at it. And if there is a deadline specific to that, then I can make the effort to bring it back at today's
This
meeting.
afternoon.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. That seems to make sense. Okay, so we've had it moved and seconded that we support these recommendations. All in favor? Thank you very much. And I believe we've come to the end of our meeting, and so we will. I need a motion to adjourn, please. Thank you. Campbell, King, all in favor. Thank you very much.